How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? This is another episode of Serving Up Comics. This is episode, I think 23. Nick, correct me, or am I
I,
mistaken?
I believe it's 23, yes.
Okay, 23. He's like, yes. And joining me as always, my cohort and co-host, Nick Valero. How you doing?
Hey, man, how's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. Just got out from work. If you could see, I'm wearing this on camera.
Yeah, a lot of things have kind of progressed in the last month,
Yeah.
which now we officially can say that we do have a panel at LA Comic-Con.
Yeah, we have we were approved this last week. We're getting our guests together. I guess we could say a little bit. Our guests at the moment, we have our good friend, well, obviously you, Nick, you're moderating with me.
Yes.
We have our good friend Cruz Castillo, who's joining us.
Right.
We have Henry Barajas, comic book writer. We have Kaden Phoenix, and we have Maxi Rodriguez. So that should be cool. It should be fun. We have a very spirited panel, all people of color, and we're just gonna talk about what inspires us. So I'm really excited. I'm really jazzed. How are you feeling? Anticipation?
Yeah, it feels good, man. It feels good. I can't wait. I always like being on panels. Panels are always a lot of fun, especially, because doing these are really cool, like doing podcasts, but like there's nothing like doing a live audience experience with, audience, with like people in the front, people laughing at your jokes, people like not laughing at your jokes, and you're getting that live like experience of kind of going like, all right, that joke hit, that joke didn't hit. Okay, let's keep moving.
Yeah, it's like stand up, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit, because you not only that, but also you kind of you feel the anticipation in the room. You can kind of feel the way that like how the audience is moving and everything like that. Like, oh yeah, like are they engaged? Are they not engaged? Okay, how do I get them back engaged if they're starting to like kind of fall out of it and stuff like that. And I remember last time we did a podcast. I mean, a podcast at a panel. It flew. Like I think we had like 45 minutes for our panel last year. It was like half an hour, 45 minutes, I think.
Yeah, it was on the shorter side.
Yeah, I think we had like half an hour, 45 minutes, and that thing flew. Like it started, and then before we even knew it, it was over. Yeah. And I was like, oh man, like that. And it was such a great adrenaline rush, and it was great. Like I loved it.
Yeah, it's there's nothing else like it. You get to be around people that want to listen to the show or have listened to it. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting at least. So I would say that. So please come. It's December. Why am I blanking on my own panel? I'm gonna just make sure I have the right
December 5th, isn't it?
Yes, December 5th at 11:30 at LA Comic Con. We are room 303B. So
it's gonna be interesting that day, because not only do we have a panel, but it's my birthday that day. So we're gonna be
what a way to celebrate.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna be on a panel for my birthday, so that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be but yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait. I don't know why, but I always love when they give us the itinerary, and it says like panels, and then seeing our names inside of the panel and like that itinerary is always really fun. It
really is. It's really awesome. So
yeah, it makes you feel real official.
Yeah, it makes you feel special. It makes me feel appreciated. But yeah, any viewers, please show up.
Yeah, man, if you guys are going to be at the local in the LA area visiting LA Comic-Con, shorter as we get closer to it, we'll go ahead and post something on our Instagram, kind of showing you exactly where it is. All of our socials will tell you, hey, go to this place at this time, and that way we can have exactly where it is, because unfortunately we know what day it's on. We just don't know the location and also the time.
Yeah.
We just know what day it's on. So as we get closer to the con itself, I can go ahead and we can give you more of that information, let you know what is going on, how we're doing it, and everything else. And I can't wait to see all you guys there. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So, all right. So Nick, we're talking about a movie on this episode.
Yeah, we are. It's kind of a biggie. It's a big movie for me. I don't know about you. I love this movie so much.
Yeah, I would say it's like almost 30 years in the making, where Ghostbusters Afterlife is a direct sequel to Ghostbusters 2, which I don't know if you're a fan of, but I was watching that during the quarantine around this time last year. I think Joe Biden is actually a fan because he used the song that they used to repel the slime in the Statue of Liberty when he was having his acceptance speech when he won.
I just think
It's
that's also just funny.
yeah.
I think like I'm trying to repel, Gozer, and I'm trying to repel this slime ball.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's just funny. But yeah, besides that, I mean, I fell in love with these movies. I love Bill Murray. I love Dan Aykroyd.
Binkman.
I love all of them so much. I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan of Caddyshack, SNL, all of that. They're a huge inspiration for, I think a lot of people who, do anything that's kind of funny related or comedy movies nowadays. I mean, a lot of people, they pull from those movies as a template,
Mhm.
especially like college movies or anything like that. Automatically they pull Animal House. That's their immediate kind of like, oh yeah, like that's the format, that's how we do it, use it, and stuff like, and everything else. So for this movie, it was directed by the son of the original.
Yeah.
I forget
Jason
his name right now.
Jason Reitman, who's the son of
Jason Reitman.
Ivan Reitman.
Yes, Jason
Yeah.
Reitman, and he used a lot of really cool things inside this movie, man. He
Yeah.
did a lot of really cool stuff. Like I actually didn't know until a buddy told me when I went to go watch it that they used the same special effects for the
One.
emitters,
Oh.
for the proton
Hmm.
lasers that they used in the original movie. He just used the assets and he put it inside the movie.
Hmm.
That was it. I was like, oh, that's kind of sick. Like, I like the idea of that, of just like modernizing old tech. Like,
Yeah.
that's super cool.
Yeah, exactly. Well, also those proton packs haven't been updated since the 80s.
Right.
So certainly worked, I would say.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're nuclear powered. So, I mean, God, I hope so. You know?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And
this mhm.
no, yeah. The whole movie in a whole is, I really enjoyed it. I walked out of that movie, ecstatic on how good it was, just because I've seen how bad it could be.
Yeah.
And
Hey, you know what? I think the Ghostbusters video game is probably the best Ghostbusters sequel.
it's good. It is definitely good.
Yeah, for the Wii.
But if you're only taking it for the three movies, for 1, 2, and 3, I think this is a great successor to the sequels.
Yeah.
It's a proper passing of the torch, of kind of going like, hey, we're going to be passing the torch over to these new Ghostbusters in order to continue the series. Or
Mhm.
even if they don't make a sequel, I'm actually kind of okay with them not moving on for a sequel.
Well, actually, if you look at the box office, it did pretty well considering it was a lower budget film. I think it was only
Right.
like 60 million to make, something like that.
So it's definitely getting a sequel. That's what I'm
Yeah,
hearing.
yeah, probably, yeah.
No, but I mean, even if it gets a sequel, that's cool. But if we didn't get it, I think that it left off in a nice place of kind of like, we're going off into the distance. Ghostbusters still, the Ghostbusters are still riding high, and the world is safe
Yeah.
because the Ghostbusters are around. And I thought that was a cool little ending for it.
Yeah, exactly. We'll wait a second before we get into spoilers. But what did you think of the new cast of Ghostbusters? We have Egon's grandchildren, Phoebe, and her brother, played by Finn Wolfhard. You had a podcast, which was great.
You know what? I thought
Lucky.
it was hilarious because as I was listening to the movie, as I was watching the movie, I thought it was really funny because the podcast says a lot of things that we say all the time. And I thought it really embodied kind of that notion of like, it's okay, it gets better after issue 75. So I just thought
it
that
really found its voice.
It really found its voice. And I just think it's so funny as a podcaster to kind of go like, yeah, that's something I've definitely said. That's
Yeah.
some stupid stuff that I've said. But yeah, man, I really enjoyed them. I thought they were fun. Lucky was kind of underused, but she was still cool.
Yeah, I liked her. I think she's kind of a love interest for Finn's character, but then he, hmm, I feel like she just gets kind of like thrown into it, but she was like, I wanted to see more of that character.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like she isn't necessarily you. It's not that she's misused. I think she's just underused.
Yeah.
Underutilized. I feel like she's a very bold character that could potentially be a lot cooler if we were just given more time with her.
Yeah.
Now, if we got a sequel and we brought those kids back, I would love to kind of see Lucky come back and have a bigger role, and I think that would be kind of cool if they do get the sequel.
Yeah.
But overall, I love the cast. I love everything else. I mean, don't get me wrong. When you're going to go see this movie, you're probably going to guess the end.
Yeah.
There's no mystery to it. There's no like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. You can kind of guess it. Even like the issues with Egon and his daughter and everything like that. Like immediately, as soon as she went down into the basement, I was like, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a very by the numbers film for sure. That's not to say it's bad, but you could certainly guess a lot of the twists or like a lot of the plot threads, but it is entertaining, which for a Ghostbusters movie, I think that's all you want. You want to see certain characters back. We'll get into that. We keep teasing that. But the film, I think, worked. I thought all the kids were great and they really carried the film. I was really enjoying Phoebe's character. The way she kind of based her personality and performance on Harold Ramis, R.I.P. Was she did a really good job giving us this like little Egon.
Yeah, kind of giving you like mini Egon. Like it's such an interesting idea, and I love the deadpan sense of humor. That deadpan sense of humor really goes a long way.
Yeah, I loved her jokes where it's the jokes were like the kind of like non sequitur jokes where she's just like, what do you call like a dead polar bear, and like in a can, it's like whatever you want because they're dead.
Whatever you want, it's dead. Who cares? Who cares what you call it?
Yeah, I was trying to remember some other ones, but she had some good ones though. That was a highlight of mine.
Because why can't you trust an atom? Because they make up everything. Yeah, I remember a couple of them. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. That it's such like really interesting and great humor. Harold Ramis kind of did the same thing with that deadpan, with that deadpan comedy. Like especially when he's talking to certain people and he's just going like, "Can I dissect your brain?" And it's like, what? No.
Yeah.
Like, and then I think it was shoot, I can't remember his name. It's the guy who originally played the Keymaster.
Harold, Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis, where he's like, "Will it hurt?" He goes, "Excruciatingly." It's just like, yes, it definitely hurt. But yeah, man, I think that's such a cool idea. It's such a cool what was it? It's really nice to kind of see how well and how much respect this movie was given. I feel that, especially with, spoilers, you do see the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah, let's get into that. I was very happy to see them. A little surprised because Bill Murray famously never wanted to do a sequel, didn't want to come back. He kept pulling out of any projects. I believe in one draft of a screenplay for 3 that Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis were working on, his character gets like killed off. He gets like hit by a truck, which I guess kind of how they felt about Murray at the time. But it was nice to see those character actors like Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, and of course Bill Murray back as the Ghostbusters.
Well, I feel that Murray coming back shows, because I know that according to the tale and according to how Harold Ramis's family kind of talks about it, is that in Harold Ramis's last days, Murray went to go see him and they kind of buried the hatchet.
Yeah, that's what I read as well.
Yeah, where they very much buried the hatchet. They apologized for everything that may have happened, or what may have misunderstandings or disagreements, and they very much kind of, put bygones be bygones, and they got the piece that they needed before Ramis did, unfortunately pass.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of goes into Bill Murray wanting to be in this new, rendition, especially how respectful they kind of treat Harold Ramis, because they really do treat him with a lot of respect in this movie. Because they could have done the whole, CGI thing, the same thing that they did with like Carrie Fisher. They could have done everything else, giving him lines, giving him everything like that. And I think that was the way that they did it, where it was like he's just a specter that's basically haunting the house. And he's moving lights, or he's turning stuff on, or he's just, he's guiding them, not necessarily, outwardly being in the movie. That was really cool. That was really beautiful.
Yeah, it was nice. I loved the presence of Egon was felt. And of course you have oh shoot. Sorry.
Right there, champ.
Yeah, the computer moved. Okay. If anyone's watching on YouTube, you saw something. But anyway, yeah, the fact that they have like a body double and everything, and you get to see the Ghostbusters ride again one last time, all four of them, even though when it's CGI, I thought that was nice. It was a nice little tribute, and yeah, it was just really sweet.
The scene that kind of hardcore reminded me of Dragon Ball Z, just because I'm a huge anime nerd, was the scene where
they were doing
Phoebe
like a Kamehameha.
Phoebe's holding the thing, and then like Ramis grabs it, and then it gets stronger and it blasts them away. I'm like, somebody watched a little bit too much Dragon Ball Z when they were a kid. Like, this is it's good. Don't get me wrong. I love it. It's so good. And to see Harold Ramis, I actually like the fact that he didn't have any lines. Nobody, went into like try to do voice modulation, or they try to do anything like that, because they've been trying to do that with a lot of different characters.
Yeah, like Tarkin. Like Carrie Fisher, she had some of her lines reused, which was weird.
It didn't fit. It really doesn't fit.
I feel like they were talking to like an NPC in Rise of Skywalker.
Right? Like at a certain point, you're just kind of going like, she's not there. Like, she's not there. So so it's pretty funny. But the thing is that I like the way that they did it. They did a really respectful job. Not only that, but also I do see a couple of critics kind of saying that it's far too nostalgic, and it really heavily kind of like leans on the nostalgia. And is that true? Yes, absolutely. Yes, it does. But the thing is that I feel like for a movie like this, where it is supposed to take place afterwards, kind of like as a sequel / reboot of the series, I feel like you kind of need to be nostalgic in order to wrap people in and kind of go like, oh, I get it. I get the world. I get them. I understand where they are in the world. Oh, this is 30 years later, and, it's kind of like a myth of what happened in New York that day. People have talked about it. Yeah, people have like talked about it, but more or less people have kind of forgotten.
Yeah.
Of like what happened that day in New York, just because, it's kind of like an urban legend of like, this is what happened in New York. Yeah, I know about it.
It's like, so what?
Yeah, so what, man? Like, oh
yeah.
Yeah, like, and also I really liked Paul Rudd as kind of like your guide through the Ghostbusters mythology, of him kind of like being your Ray. He very much is the one that's kind of throwing down the science. He's very much kind of giving you the problem, and also like what's going on in the world, and kind of searching it out. And then Phoebe kind of picks it up and is able to, run the ball from there. So I really did like Paul Rudd. He was fun. He was really interesting. I like the chemistry between him and the wife. I mean, him and Egon's daughter. All around, I really liked this movie. I went to go watch it again, trying to see if there was anything negative I didn't like about it, and I just loved it again.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like a 3.5. Like it's really, it was really enjoyable. I don't think it's certainly the best movie, but it was fun. It was like a nice, revisiting a friend I hadn't seen in like 20 years or something. And I guess going into that, it kind of gave us what we wanted. We always wanted to see Bill Murray back as a Ghostbuster. I guess Harold Ramis. And the only thing I was just like kind of iffy about, it's like, do we really have to do like Zool again, or I think the marshmallow Stay Puft Marshmallow Men work, but it was kind of a little, but they reminded me of like porgs almost, where it's like these are just toys.
Yeah, these are gonna be made into toys. I actually didn't mind Zool. I didn't mind that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like there needed to be an antagonist. There needed to be something that Harold Ramis was protecting the world from.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of, Zool resurrects every, 10, I think it's like 10 to 15 years.
Something like that.
Like 20, every 20 years Zool, resurrects. She tries to resurrect in a different spot. And, there was a temple underneath, this town. And I just really enjoyed it. Like, I really didn't like the fact that it was something familiar, because they kind of Force Awakened it, but in a good way. They brought in something very familiar, but it was a new threat in a way of like, okay, we can't just cross. Like, I liked the idea of the boys crossing the streams, and then they're going like, well, that's how we beat her last time. Like, we just crossed the streams. And then she immediately like going like, oh, she's uncrossing the streams. I didn't know you could do that.
Like, I didn't either.
Yeah, and I thought that was really interesting. The same problems. I mean, the same, problem didn't result in the same solution. It was something totally different. And I really did like that. I really appreciated it. And yeah, man, I love this movie. Like, honestly, you gave it a 3.5. I give it a 5 out of 5, man. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. This movie was by far, I think this movie's a sleeper. Honestly. Okay. If you're a Ghostbusters fan, this movie's a sleeper until Spider-Man comes out.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Spider-Man. I may have like read into it a little too much from some friends who have told me some information, but I'm still riding high on that. Just the fact that, I guess from the trailers where we're going to see Doc Ock and Green Goblin, Sandman, that's going to be great.
I feel like you got spoiled something.
I can't say.
I feel like you got spoiled something. We'll talk after. We'll talk after about what you got spoiled. I'm fine with that. I don't care about spoilers. But yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the end of the year and kind of like what other movies come out. But I thought this one, for it being delayed for a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Yeah,
it really did sink the landing on this one.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when that first trailer came out. I think like December of 2019 or something.
Something like that, but it was supposed to come out like that August.
Yeah.
And then March, and then 2020 March happened, and all movies were then put on like hiatus. So, I think this movie did an awesome job. It did a great. It was really good. I enjoyed it. Go watch it. Give it its money. Give it your money.
Yeah. So, Ghostbusters. Enough said. So I guess that goes into our next point of discussion, Nick. Batman the Animated Series. We're on another 2 episodes.
We did another 2 episodes. This is our ongoing rewatch of Batman the Animated Series. Gene, what did you think of these episodes? What did you think of the first episode first? Go over the first episode.
So Fear of Victory.
Yeah.
Which we saw. That's the first one. Where they had the Return of the Scarecrow, and I believe that they changed his design a little bit from the first time we see it.
Yeah, this is the one with the actual what's it called? It has the noose over his neck, right?
I believe they add that because the where he looks like a preacher is in the Batman the new animated series.
Yes, you're right. Yes, you are right. But I honestly, that is one of my favorite actual character designs of the Scarecrow, like comic book or in anything else. But yeah, Scarecrow is a solid villain. He's a solid villain. Give me a synopsis. Tell me what it's about.
Yeah, so we're first introduced to Robin, who we haven't seen in the whole series at this point. And we're watching this in the broadcast order. So Robin didn't come in until like 20 episodes, and we see him at college, and He's kind of dorming with this college football star, and during the game, he has like a panic attack. He starts fearing, having this like offset fear, and Batman and Robin investigate, and they're also kind of caught by this fear toxin, which draws on someone's adrenaline. Whenever they get excited, they get scared. So I think that's an interesting point. The fact that we see Batman scared, we see Robin scared, and kind of delving into that fear, which was a good sort of some interesting themes, especially for Batman. I know we already kind of saw this in the first episode of Scarecrow, but kind of going into his fears and going into Robin's fears too. For Robin, yeah, it was it's interesting that we see him kind of like already fully formed in the show, right?
Yeah, yeah. I did want to see like the whole Flying Grayson thing and
Which
everything
you
like that
do.
happen. You do see it, but I would you have wanted the Batman Forever kind of thing where like Batman's he's at the circus and what was it, like Tony Zuko comes in and he like starts shooting up the place and then the Flying Graysons die? Like, is that what you want to
No,
see?
not really. I mean, like, yeah, I mean that Robin's like 17, so the fact that like Batman adopts him is like, get a job, you know.
But the thing is that I thought it was interesting though, is because if you actually put these close together, they are both the same. What was it? It's kind of like they went with Batman Forever. They saw what they did and they were like, okay, we need to make him more like a teenager
Mhm.
instead of him being a kid, because him being a kid is weird.
Yeah, yeah,
Because it is. It's kind of weird. It's a little weird of
a little
like,
bit.
it's a little weird of like you getting a 12-year-old and then going like, all right, cool, let's fight some
Well,
crime.
yeah. Well, I mean, he legally adopts Robin,
He
and
does.
yeah.
He illegally adopts Robin, goes through the whole thing, everything like that. But yeah, man, how'd you like this episode?
I found it really interesting. It has a lot of what we'll see in later sort of Batman the episode, the animated series,
Mhm.
where they're in Arkham and they're just passing by all the villains and they're just telling them like, "Hey, what's up?" Or you see like these little cameos and just kind of the neatness of how this feels like a fully formed like world where it's living and breathing, where they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, there's villains in the asylum. They're just hanging out, and I was really I was really interested in seeing Batman and Robin interact, how they help each other out, how they work as a team, and just the sort of camaraderie between the two. Yeah.
Yeah, it is really nice to actually see, because a lot of the times Batman and Robin stories are always told with Batman on one side of the pillar and Robin on another, especially Dick and Bruce. There's always this like huge thing of Dick Grayson, he resents what Bruce Wayne did, even though it helped him get over the death of his parents. He, resents Batman for turning him into what he is today, and he doesn't want to become Batman, and he wants to be his own man and stuff like that. Do they do that inside the animated series? Absolutely. But I like the fact that there is kind of like this teamwork. There's this like Robin is like, yes, Batman, whatever you're saying, I'm doing it. Like, let's do this. And there is that a little bit of rebellion, Robin kind of, investigating on his own, but it is a team effort. And that's
Mhm.
really cool to see.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I have to give a shout out because we're always talking about the voice cast. Lauren Lister as Robin. He does such a great youthful voice. I don't know his age, but I believe he's still played it. He's played Nightwing, and there's always just such a and he reprised Nightwing in that Batman Harley Quinn
Yeah.
animated film, which some people didn't like. I thought it was fine. Yeah, he really embodies that character, and of course Tim Curry, who I think it's uncredited in this, right?
Is Tim Curry in this? Is he?
Um, I'm reading that he played the henchman.
Oh, yes, he did. He did,
Yeah.
which Leon's henchman and additional voices. So
Hmm.
he did a couple of things.
which is interesting because he was almost the Joker. Which
He was the Joker.
Yeah.
He got cast as the Joker.
And they dubbed over his lines.
Yeah, they dubbed over the first episode. The only reason is because he was also in Peter Pan.
Yeah, Captain Hook.
Same time. He was Captain Hook in Peter Pan in the 90s Peter Pan. And then they went, he sounds like Captain Hook. He doesn't sound like the Joker.
Yeah.
And that's how you get Mark Hamill.
There you go.
I would love to see that first episode with Tim Curry, because apparently it was done. Apparently the episode was done. That's what Mark Hamill says. He goes, I remember seeing Tim Curry, like his actual performance, and then having to do it to that, because the very first one was already animated with the voices of Tim Curry. So he had to then listen to it and then go like, okay, how am I going to do my own rendition of the Joker that Tim Curry did? Which is very interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, one day maybe we'll see it like on some special feature on HBO Max or something. Maybe.
I hope so. That'd be so cool to kind of get like these old like episodes or like unaired episodes. I would even be like, so it would be so cool to see episodes that were half done. You know, where it's just the blocks and everything like that, and they put it all together. That would be kind of sick.
It would be. I would like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think they did that in the comic. I think they did that with a couple of comics where it was like these were episodes that never aired and everything else. So yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this. I like Scarecrow. Scarecrow is a really, really fun villain.
I always appreciate Scarecrow whenever we see that character pop up.
Yeah.
Especially that new animated series design. I love that design.
Yeah, the new animated series design is really cool. Actually, I kind of feel like a lot of the other ones kind of take from it. The Arkham games don't really, because he looks more like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Inside of the Arkham games, but he still, I don't know if you notice, even in the Arkham game, he has a noose over his neck. So I mean, that's always kind of been like a staple that they've kept with with him ever since the animated series. So I'm really happy. I really enjoyed it. Go check this episode out. I mean, it's really bad because I mean, every single time we do one of these, it's always like, was the episode good? Yes, it was excellent. I don't.
Well, I was going to say the next episode, not too much of a fan of. I have Batman in my basement, I believe. Okay. So this episode, I've got Batman in my basement. Aired on September 30th, 1992. It's centers on two young characters, Sherman and his friend Roberta, and they witness the Penguin, who's in this like weird amalgamation design of how he looks in Batman Returns, but then they kind of do their own thing and it doesn't quite work. But they see him stealing a Fabergé egg, and Batman gets into a sort of a scuffle with him. Batman gets hit with a gas pellet, winkets him, and then the kids have to protect him. And this just feels like I don't know, it feels like the 50s Batman, or excuse me, the Adam West Batman, and doesn't quite mesh with this. Yeah, you weren't a fan?
No, but I mean, you know what, I get it, because also this is I do understand the episode though. I get why it was created, and I understand why we have it. Is it as an adult a good episode? Probably not.
No.
But as a kid, this was actually a really fun episode for me, because for one, it was kind of like, what would happen? What would happen if Batman would ever show up at my house? You know, could I help him?
Yeah.
You know,
probably not.
Probably not. No, I would never. No, Bane coming through my house, he'd destroy the hell out of it. He'd kill me. But Penguin, maybe. Who knows? It's Penguin. You just take away this umbrella. He's done.
Yeah.
But I do understand why this episode is there, though. It's the idea of connecting the kids to Batman, because you don't have that many kids inside of Batman, the animated series.
There's Robin. That's it.
But even Robin's a teenager, and this is directed towards like 10-year-olds. So we do kind of need that idea of saying, oh yeah, like, you know, we're gonna have kids inside the episode and they're helping Batman out. Very Home Alone-esque.
Very Home Alone-esque.
Yeah, very Home Alone-esque, where like Batman's trying to like teach him how to make traps and stuff like that. So I mean, it's cool. I enjoyed it. It was a good. It was a cool episode. Is it my favorite? No. Is it entertaining? Yeah, it's entertaining. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I especially loved it when I was a kid. I loved it when I was a kid.
I mean, it was fun.
As an adult, it's not as good as an adult.
Well, it's so over the top. Like the scene where it's like Batman and Penguin fight, and Penguin has a sort of sword, and Batman has a screwdriver. It's so goofy.
Yeah. It's kind of like what's it called? Adam West when he's fighting Eggman. Mm-hmm. And what was it? And like Robin's on like the turntable, and he's just throwing eggs at his face.
Mm-hmm.
Just
yeah. Well, also, what did you think of Penguin's design? Because it's like I love the design in the new Batman animated series. But it's like he totally looks incredibly different. Like he lost weight. He just doesn't have flippers. Yeah.
They try to do the everything. I noticed once the movies kind of came out, they always try to like make everything look like the movies so that way it looked the same. I never liked the Danny DeVito Penguin look. I always thought that looked dumb. I always thought it looked dumb.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Tim Burton thing. Tim Burton thought that was like, oh, it's edgy. I thought it looked stupid. It looks really dumb. In all fairness, if you really want a great Penguin design, I would have to go with Telltale's The Batman
Penguin. Oh yeah, we make him a Cockney.
Where he's a Cockney Brit and like very pissed off.
Yeah,
but he's relative. But he's ruggedly handsome. He's like a ruggedly handsome Brit with a Cockney handsome accent. Penguin. Yeah, I want a handsome Penguin because I always like the idea. I like the idea when Batman's rogues gallery reflect Batman. Penguin as, this deformed, small, fat dude doesn't really reflect Batman's, sensibilities and stuff like that. I always liked the idea of the Penguin being this handsome billionaire, just like Bruce, whose parents died and left him all this money. And instead of going into crime fighting, he went into gun smuggling.
Yeah.
And just like making the city a far worse than it already was. And I think that's so interesting, that counterpoint to Batman of kind of going like, what made Batman go this way and what made the Penguin go this way, when they're both technically, if you put them together, they're both the same. What choices did both of them make that the other one didn't? And usually the thing is that Batman's parents were murdered and Penguin's parents were also murdered, but they were usually murdered by Penguin.
A lot of Batman villains are like that, like Hush, Black Mask. They all have that going. They all kill their parents, which probably don't want to do.
I mean, it's definitely not the first thing on my list. I mean, go get a job first, please.
Yeah.
Don't go like, we'll kill my dad. That's how I get my millions. That's it. Like, don't do that. That's not how that works.
Yeah, but I even though I didn't like this episode, I appreciate its the way it just tries to connect to its audience at the time, because it was mainly 5-10-year-olds watching this, so commend it for that. And it's a interesting sort of just look at like kids in Gotham. So yeah,
I really do, and I really do appreciate that. I like seeing kids in Gotham because you don't really get to see that very often. You don't see the point of, you see a lot of like what the adults are going through and stuff like that, the pain and the misery in Gotham, yada, yada, yada. But also you don't really get to see what it means to be a kid in Gotham. And that's a lot cooler. Yeah. It's something that they actually tackle a lot inside of Batman Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
In Batman Beyond, they tackle that a lot of being a kid in Gotham, or growing up in the Narrows, or growing up in different areas of Gotham, and kind of like not having, this silver spoon in your mouth. What exactly do you become, or what exactly do you have to resort to? Yeah. And I think that's always a really cool idea.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Yeah, I mean, I just remember that Batman Gotham Knights episode where the kids are all telling folklore about Batman, and you see how you stand in for the audience, how they have reverence for the character, which we all need a little Batman to help us out. Yeah, right. I think so. Be a better person.
Well, I always took it as Batman is the epitome of what it meant to be the world's best human. He looks out for his fellow man. He always does the right thing. He has a code. He does everything else. And it's really nice to kind of see how exactly the rest of the city, especially the young and also just normal citizens, see Batman. Would they be willing to help him out?
Yeah.
And everything else, because they didn't have to help him. They could have left his ass on the lawn and go like, "Hey, Penguin, he's over here. Come kill him."
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to see the citizens kind of stand up for him.
Yeah, so it really does show you the dichotomy inside of Gotham and how exactly people see that ever since Batman showed up, Gotham has gotten better, and he is our hero. And we have to protect him as much as he protects us and everything else. And I thought that was really cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, the Penguin being basically just Alan Murr from Home Alone. That one was a little good. That was a little bad.
Yeah, I wanted to see maybe if they made this like Christmas and the kids have like traps, maybe it would have been better watching this as an adult.
Could have been. Yeah, I thought that would have been kind of cool. Batman teaching him how to make like traps and stuff, or them doing whatever, and very Home Alone-esque. Like a kid gets the bat boat and he just like starts throwing stuff everywhere. That'd be kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a good episode. It's a solid episode. It's better when you were a kid. It's a good episode to show to kids. Not a great episode to watch when you're an adult.
No, I don't think so.
On a 1 to 5 scale, where would you put it?
It's like a 2.
It's like a 2. I'd give it like a 3.5.
Okay.
I'm still saying we haven't seen a really bad episode.
Yeah, there probably are some, but
I haven't seen an episode where I'm like, dude, is this episode over yet? Like, this is bad.
Yeah, we'll get to one.
I'm sure we'll get to one.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess that wraps up our Batman the Animated Series recap. Kind of wrapping up here, Nick. Last couple of minutes here. Anything you've been reading or watching that you've been enjoying, comic book wise?
Yeah, actually, I just started reading. Batman 89.
Nice.
Yeah, I picked up my 3rd issue of Batman 89. It's really good. Also, Batman the Imposter, really awesome. I'm enjoying it. Issue 1 is really good. Issue 2, not as good, but it's still good. I really do. I'm really hoping that issue 3 kind of like kicks it into high gear. And I enjoy that a lot more. But so far, I'm enjoying Batman 89. I also have Superman. I also have the Superman one as well.
78.
Yeah, Superman 78, which is really cool, and I really love it. It's
all right.
Some of these are really cool. I actually really like this one because it actually has Damon Wayne's art as Robin, and it's so cool. Like, I love the idea of Damon Wayne's as Robin.
Yeah, he was supposed to be it if Tim Burton did a 3rd one. So
if Tim Burton did
that would have been interesting.
Robin, Damon Wayans was going to be it. And I like the idea that they really did kind of go with that 90s look for for Dick Grayson. And I did like the idea that he was going to be Dick Grayson.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. And it's a nice, entertaining kind of like, I think you can see it a little bit.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can kind of see, Damon Wayans and Batman kind of, talking, and it's a really interesting dichotomy between the two of them.
Yeah,
it's something that should have happened, and unfortunately, it didn't.
Right.
What about you, Gene? What are you reading?
Right now I'm just I wasn't reading too much. I was just kind of reading some classic Batman, like Son of the Demon, going back, kind of looking at some back issues from Mike Barr. I'm reading the whole Demon Saga, which was in the 70s and 80s. So yeah, just kind of reading that. Not reading too much right now, but Yeah, my friend Jose was letting me borrow it, so shout out for him for keeping my comic buying alive. But yeah, I guess
Where
that wraps up our show. Nick, where can people find you at?
you can find
Plug
me on
away.
my you can find me on my socials. You can find me at the Nick Valero on Instagram and Twitter. Also with Facebook. You can also find me on Keeping Up with the Nerds podcast that airs Mondays and Wednesdays. Our mini cast airs on Mondays, and our full podcast airs on Wednesdays. And this month was month of guests, so we did have a couple of guests that showed up this month. Podcasters, streamers, different stuff like that. A lot of really cool guests, a lot of cool people. Go check it out.
Yeah, I saw a few of them. Seemed really exciting.
Yeah, man, they were really cool. Some of those guests were really, really sick. I liked it. And I'm glad because they really were outside of like the realm of like what we usually talk about. So they were talking about like instead of just having like another nerdy podcast or anything like that, like we usually do, it was a lot of like, oh yeah, like I'm a Twitch streamer and this is how I got here, or I'm an artist and this is like how I do my art and this is how I do everything else. So it was really fun to have them on. Shout out to Sarah and Cece and Lewis. They did a really awesome job with that. So go check them out. They were some good episodes.
Of course. Yeah, definitely. So you could find me on Twitter and Instagram, G9892. You could find the Waffle Press at the Waffle Press Podcast, and you could find Serving Up Comics on his socials at Serving Up Comics on Twitter and Instagram. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We've been professionally unprofessional.